Welcome to HornAfrica Insight, your source for East Africa's top news. Today, we explore Kenya's nuclear ambitions, Eritrea's clash with Ethiopia over Red Sea access, Somalia's defense of the Arab League amid Nile disputes, and Djibouti's BCIMR bank eyeing Ethiopia's banking sector. 4 stories, 1 region. Subscribe, hit the bell, and let's dive in. Hashtag HornAfrica Insight. Kenya is preparing to enter the nuclear age. The government has announced plans to build its first nuclear power plant in Bondo, Siaya County, a 500 billion Kenyan shillings or $3.8 billion project expected to break ground in 2027. The Nuclear Power and Energy Agency, NUPEA, says the 1,000 megawatt facility will be operational by 2034, and by 2037, nuclear energy could contribute more than 6,600 megawatts to the national grid. The site, chosen near Lake Victoria, will ensure a stable cooling source for the reactor. NUPEA's CEO, Justus Wabuyabo, says the project is not only about electricity, but also about diversifying Kenya's energy mix and positioning the country as a regional hub for science and technology. The project follows public consultations and International Atomic Energy Agency approval, given back in 2021. Local leaders such as Rarieta MP Otiende Amalo back the project for its promise of jobs, infrastructure, and education opportunities. Yet some residents remain cautious, arguing that agriculture and fishing should remain the priority for Siaya County. Kenya's nuclear push highlights a big question. Can the nation balance its rapid development with the needs and fears of its local communities? The Red Sea has once again become a flashpoint between Eritrea and Ethiopia. Eritrea's Minister of Information, Yemane Gebremeskel, has condemned Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's renewed calls for access to the port of Assab. Speaking ahead of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam inauguration, Abiy described Ethiopia's loss of Assab as a historic mistake that must one day be corrected.
አባይ 1000 ዓመት አሁን የሚሰጠውን አገልግሎት እንዲሰጥ ማድረግ አልቻለም። ቀይ ባህር እኮ 30 ዓመት ነበርኛል። ቀይ ባህር ዛሬ 30 ዓመት ነው። የትናንትና ታሪክ ነው። የተፈጠረው ስህተት ትናንትና ነው። ነገ ይታረማል። ብዙ ከባድ ነው። ይሄ ዓመት ነው።
Eritrea rejected the remarks as reckless fantasy and political hogwash, arguing they violate international law and risk destabilizing the region. Addis Ababa, however, continues to frame its push for Red Sea access as tied to national security and economic growth, with officials like Brigadier General Teshome Gemechu citing Ethiopia's historic ties to Assab. But the roots of this tension go deeper. When Eritrea gained independence in 1993, Ethiopia became landlocked overnight, losing not just Assab, but all direct access to the sea. For years, Ethiopia relied on Eritrean ports, until the 1998 to 2000 border war severed relations and forced Addis Ababa to reroute trade through Djibouti. Today, 95% of Ethiopia's imports and exports flow through Djibouti, making maritime access one of Ethiopia's most expensive vulnerabilities. For Eritrea, though, the memory of that bloody border war and the hard-won sovereignty that followed makes any Ethiopian claim over Assab non-negotiable. The tension is now drawing in other players. Recently, Egypt sent a shipment of medicines to Eritrea, a gesture many analysts read as more than humanitarian goodwill. It comes at a moment when Cairo is seeking to deepen ties with Asmara, aligning over shared concerns about Ethiopia's Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam and its broader regional ambitions. To Ethiopia, such moves raise suspicions of an emerging axis of opposition against its influence. The situation is further complicated by Egypt's visible presence in Eritrea and the Red Sea corridor, a strategic lifeline for global trade. With Nile waters already at the heart of regional disputes, the addition of Red Sea politics makes the Horn even more fragile. The question remains, can diplomacy prevent this dispute from escalating into another regional crisis? Or is the Horn headed toward another cycle of mistrust and confrontation? Somalia has stepped into the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam debate by defending the Arab League against criticism from Ethiopia's ambassador in Mogadishu, Suleiman Didifo. The ambassador accused the League of siding unfairly with Egypt and Sudan in the Nile dispute. In response, Somalia's defense minister, Ahmed Moalim Fichi, praised the Arab League's historic role in supporting sovereignty, state building, and regional cooperation. His remarks echoed Cairo's position, which views the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam as an existential threat if operated unilaterally by Ethiopia. This diplomatic clash comes just days after Egypt submitted a formal complaint about the dam to the United Nations Security Council. For Ethiopia, Somalia's alignment with Cairo complicates already tense relations, especially as Egypt pushes to deploy AU peacekeepers to Somalia, a move Ethiopia opposes. To understand Somalia's stance, one must look back at its historical ties with the Arab League. Somalia joined the League in 1974, partly to cement cultural and religious ties with Arab states, and partly to secure political backing during its long-standing tensions with Ethiopia. Over the decades, the League has provided Mogadishu with diplomatic support, humanitarian assistance, and funding for state building. For Somalia's leaders, defending the Arab League today is not just about Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. It's about maintaining an anchor of external support at a time when the country still struggles with security, terrorism, and fragile institutions. For now, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam has not caused water shortages downstream. But politically, the rifts are deepening. Somalia's defense of the Arab League highlights the broader stakes. This is no longer just a water dispute. It's about alliances, history, and the shifting balance of power across the Horn of Africa. Djibouti's largest bank, BCIMR, is looking to expand into Ethiopia. Talks were held on September 10th with Ethiopia's embassy in Djibouti, where Deputy Head of Mission Kebede Abera welcomed the move. This follows Ethiopia's landmark banking proclamation of 2024 and a June 2025 directive that opened the door for foreign banks to enter its market. BCIMR, which is 51% owned by France's BRED Banque Populaire, already controls nearly half of Djibouti's banking sector and has maintained a liaison office in Addis Ababa since 2015. CEO Sebastian Nahom says Ethiopia's economic reforms create a unique opportunity to support trade finance, investment flows, and digital banking innovation between the two countries. For Ethiopia, the move could provide much-needed capital and expertise to complement projects like the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam and other national infrastructure goals. The question now, will BCIMR's entry mark the start of deeper financial integration in the Horn of Africa? Or will Ethiopia's banking sector prove too challenging for foreign investors to navigate? From Kenya's nuclear dreams to Eritrea and Somalia's diplomatic clashes with Ethiopia, and Djibouti's banking ambitions, East Africa is reshaping its future in bold and contested ways. What do you think? Can the region find balance between development, sovereignty, and cooperation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on X, and check out our shorts covering these stories in bite-sized updates. This is HornAfrica Insight, where East Africa's story shines.